Okay, we just got done with the road to adulthood, and as you saw, it's very important as you move from adolescence to adulthood to make sure that you're going in the right direction and that you stay away from danger. So one thing that we're hoping from these sessions is that you can become more mature. So can anybody tell me, what does it mean to be more, quote, mature?
Grown up.
Grown up, okay. And what's the difference between a kid and a grown-up? What do kids do sometimes that maybe distinguishes them from a grown-up when it comes to decisions?
Make more mistakes.
Okay, yeah, so kids make mistakes. You learn from your mistakes. So hopefully as you become an adult, you've learned from a lot of things, and what that does is it helps you to have more control, okay? And when we're talking about control of your lives, as Catholic Christians, we have a special name for that. It's a virtue, and a virtue is a good habit. And we want to cultivate these virtues in our life, and that good habit is called self-control, and that'll help you to make even better decisions. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do a skit that kind of talks about how to grow in your self-control, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show you a backpack. And this is actually my son's backpack. He's in first grade. So when he comes home at night, he says, "Dad, I got some homework." So we unzip his folder. Unzip his backpack. He's got a little folder like this, and it's got a little homework pad. And the extent of his homework is color sheet number 1. And there's 10 words that he has to look over, and he's going to have a spelling test in a week. So we usually get to spend about 10-15 minutes, and he's done for the night and he's ready to go to school. So not too much to it, okay? It's not a real heavy backpack, but I'm sure with you guys going into 8th grade that you've got a little bit more homework. So this is kind of like your backpack right now, and you've got more responsibility, so we're going to put a book in here, okay? And I'm going to leave this open. Put this on my back, and I'm going to show you, I'm trying to develop control in my life, and having one book in this backpack, it's really not holding me down that much. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at this line here, and I'm going to jump as far as I can. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and you can see I jumped pretty far. There wasn't that much that was holding me back. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to share with you a situation and see if I'm able to jump as far as I did after we go through this situation. Okay, so there's going to be some things that are holding me down. So let's just imagine that next year, when you guys are freshmen, there's a situation that occurs. Okay, so the first thing that happens is it's college, or it's high school. It's a new experience. You're a little bit nervous. You're trying to fit in. You're making new friends. So in a sense, that's something that causes some anxiety. So it weighs you down a little bit. So I'm going to ask my assistant to put that in my backpack. Okay, so already feeling a little bit more weight. And then we have another bad experience, okay? So I wake up in the morning and I'm arguing with my mom about my messy room. You guys have messy rooms at home? Okay, yeah, I know my kids do as well. So my mom says that she's going to punish me, and that she's actually going to take the door off my room until I clean my room. So I'm not too happy about that. So that kind of puts me in a bad mood when I go to school. Okay, so I go to school, I'm in a bad mood, and actually there's a girl that's 2 years older than me that is pretty nice looking, and she asked me out on a date. This is like every dream for a young boy, to be asked out by an older girl. She's popular, and I'm thinking, wow, this is awesome. So even though it's an awesome experience, it's a new experience, and that creates a little bit more anxiety for me as well. Okay, the next thing that happens is I go home, and my mom asked me how my day was, and I tell her not too much information. I don't tell her that I'm going to be going on a date with a girl. I just tell her that I'm going to be going out with some friends. Okay, so this week of school ends. It's a Friday evening, and my mom decides to take me to the movies, and I tell her just drop me off. I'm going out with some friends, but really I'm not. I'm just going out with this girl, so I'm pretty excited about that. But again, it's not exactly the best choice, and it's starting to weigh me down a little bit more. Okay, so then the movie ends, and this girl says, well, there's a party that my friends are having. How about if we go to the party? So I say, well, yeah, that sounds like a good thing to do. So I didn't know it, but there's alcohol at the party, and it's just down the street. And as soon as I go in the door, people are handing out drinks, and I say, well, I want to impress this girl. She's really nice, so I'm going to have a drink. So we're going to put that in the backpack as well. Okay. So things are getting a little bit heavier, and we had a drink, and then suddenly this girl says, boy, it'd be really nice if we could just talk in the room alone. And I'm feeling a little bit tipsy, I'm a little bit scared, but I say, yeah, that sounds good. Let's go to a room. Okay, so I don't know this girl that well. I'm physically attracted to her. I don't know her spiritually. I just know her physically. And I'm not exactly sure what to do in this situation. So again, this is something that is causing me some anxiety, and this thing's starting to get a little bit heavier now. Okay, so one thing leads to another. We start kissing and touching inappropriately, and it's definitely something that's inappropriate and could cause even worse situations to occur shortly. Okay, so this backpack is relatively full now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and jump again, and let's see how far I can jump. Okay, so you can see I wasn't able to jump about this far, and what that really means when you're talking about making decisions is that if you make bad decisions, they have an impact on you, and they prevent you from making good decisions in the future. So if you make a bad decision and you lie, you go to a movie, you start drinking, you start fooling around, I didn't think that was going to be the end result, but it's very easy to fall into situations like that when you make one bad decision after another. So that's a loss of control. Okay? So what I'd like you guys to do now is turn to your books, page 12, and it says flex your self-control muscle. So we're going to talk about how to cultivate that virtue of self-control in your life. So the first block says something I can do or not do to get strong. Okay, so think of something that you can do to grow in self-control, and I'll give you an example of what I do. It doesn't sound like much, but I really like having coffee with cream and sugar. And every once in a while, usually on Fridays, I decide to fast. And that helps me to develop self-control. So it doesn't have to be something that's mind-boggling or something that's really important or earth-shattering or very spiritual, but in a sense, that helps me to work on that virtue of self-control on a weekly basis when I don't have that cream and sugar. So think about something in your life that you like, that you're willing to give up for a little bit of time that would help you with that virtue of self-control. Can you think of anything?
Dessert.
Dessert, yes. If you just want to give up dessert one day a week, or maybe for a couple nights each week, that's going to help you to work on that virtue of self-control. But self-control, the interesting thing to remember is that what happens to your body has effects on your soul. So if you're developing that virtue of self-control with your body in ways that we're not sure how it happens, it's going to help you to spiritually have that control as well. Okay, so the next item on the page is about unbreakables or unshakables. And this is just rules or limits that you want to put on yourself so that you don't get into bad situations. So looking at that situation that we just had, one unshakable, unbreakable rule might be, I'm not going to drink alcohol for any reason at all. And if you've already made that decision in your life, it's going to help you when you get into those situations to do the right thing. So besides drinking, what's something else that you could put down as an unbreakable, unshakable, a rule that you're just going to make sure that you don't break? Can you think of anything?
Drugs.
Drugs. Okay, you're not going to do drugs. Anyone else?
Driving underage.
Driving underage. Okay, some other examples might be lying to your parents,
Sex.
looking at inappropriate movies, having sex, looking on the internet for things that you know that you shouldn't be looking at. So those are some unbreakables, unshakables. And the good thing to do would be to develop a list of all those things so that you know, and you plan and you pray for situations that would not, you want to make sure that you're protected from situations like that. Okay? And then no trespassing is places that you won't go. So looking at that one situation we just went through, unsupervised parties might be a no trespassing zone. Can you think of any other places that you would not want to go?
Rooms alone with someone.
Yeah, being alone in the bedroom with someone, or being alone in the car with someone. So it's very important to have some rules that you live by and some places that you aren't going to go, and that will help you to develop that virtue of self-control in your life. That's it.